So welcome to lesson 3 using Unity version 6. And in this lesson we're going to cover a little bit of scripting and see what changes have been made in the newer version. So you should have your player, your ground set up. You should have gone to the asset store and got some materials and put them on your ground. So we start to have our scene looking better. Now we're going to go ahead and look at the scripting version for Unity. Let's look at how it used to look. So this is the old Visual Studio. So Unity will try to download Visual Studio, or if you already have it on your system, it'll use it also. But that is the programming engine for Unity. It used to be Bool. They used to have their own engine. They used to use, I think it was JavaScript also, long time ago when I tried it. When I first started, I mean. But now they've standardized on Visual Studio. So we're going to be doing that. So I made a folder. So we're going to be using folders all the time in here. So we right click, create folder, and then name it right away. We'll have one for materials. We'll have one for everything inside our scripts, etc. as we go through building our project. So I already created that folder, and I've created a new script for that. So you can, a couple of different ways of doing it. We're going to have the script on the player. So you can come here and click on the player here and come down to the inspector and add component. And you could type script and then create a script for the for our player. Or for me, I just went and I right clicked, create model behavior script. So that was the script I created. I haven't tried these others yet, so let's see what happens when I do this. Let's see if it actually looks like the old one. No, it doesn't. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that. Now, this is a object-based programming language. C# is, so we got to put it on an object. So I put mine on my player. And do I have it there? Did I take it off? Let's play it and see what happens. Okay, so I took it off. So I'm going to put it back on. But let's open this script up and take a look at it. Okay, so we saw before we used to have system collections, using system collections generic. All of that used to be there, but now we no longer have that. It's just using Unity Engine. We still have the name of the script, and you have to make sure this name goes up with your other one. Let's get a light here. So we have to make sure that this script here is the name that's inside your script you named. If you don't name that and it comes up with new script or new behavior, and then you have the script named here, it's not going to work. Unity's going to have no idea what the heck you're doing. So I'm going to put this back on my player so I can just grab it and drag it up. And there it is. Or like I said, I could have created it over here and brought it up. Or I think I could have actually gone there and typed in run and it would have found it and put it in there also. But the script has got to be on the player here. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Okay, so let's take a look at that script. Now I'm holding down control and rolling my 3-button mouse. You have to have a 3-button mouse. Really can't do video gaming or build video games in any program without it. So make sure you have a 3-button mouse. They're not that expensive. I think we used Logitech when I was teaching, but Microsoft, anyone should work. Okay, so the first thing I did is I created a public variable. Now this means I can see it in the game. So if I don't put public, I can't see anything. Let me get rid of that. Well, let's take a look at it first. So you can see I can control this in my game. I made it a public variable. It's on my player. If the script is not on the player, nothing's going to happen. Let's play it. And it's going away from me. You should know what axis that is. So let's turn this around. Now, the blue arrow is going forward. So I'm going to turn it like this. This is how this goes. So if you're putting in ground, building a pathway, bringing in an object, shooting in some kind of weapon or something, blue is forward. Do not bring something in where blue is going this way or something. Then it's not going to work. Because you're going to be moving your object left or right, or in the Z you're going to be going forward, but this is forward. So if it goes forward, it's going this way, even though it looks like it's going this way. So if you have another object where this is going this way and the other object's correct, it's going to be all messed up. So when you start doing something, make sure blue is going that way. Let's play it again. And it is going that way for me. So notice that's too fast. But because it's a public variable, I can go in here and change it instantly. And let's take a look at it now. Still pretty fast. Let's take a look at that script though. I made it a float. So float means floating point decimal. So that means I can make that a decimal. So when they say floating point, I can float it. I could put it here. Let's try that. Oh, actually, let's not try that. Let's go back to the game. And let's put a 0.5 in. Now let's play it. Way too fast. But if I come here and start making that 0.05, that's going to start slowing down for me some. That's not too bad. And if I make it 0.005, now notice this point is floating. It was over here, then it went there, then it went there, then it went there. So that's why it's called floating point decimal. And now I can get it so it's pretty easy. Yeah, so by making it public, I can change it in the game without having to go back here every time, which is what I was doing a second ago. So if we make it public, then we can change it in the game. And if you're building a video game, you want to do that. I don't know what this is. Anyway, then float means floating point decimal. Now, if I made this an int, that would be a whole number. And that wouldn't work. So let's go ahead and change that. So I've made it an integer now, and I'm going to save it. I'm going to go back and let it compile. Now notice, when you make a change, it has to compile. Now let's say I put 0.05. Notice I can't even put a point there. I made it an int, and the only option I have is a whole number, integer. So, and one's not going to make it for us. So, usually when you make a video game or if you're making something you want to have fine control on, you're going to make this a float. Because a float can have a whole number or it can have a decimal. So you've covered both of those by just putting a float inside here. And that way you can make it either a whole number or decimal. Now when I come back over here, I have the option of putting that 0.005 in and then running it. Now, I'm making these changes when I'm in the scene. If I go to the game, and let's say I make this 1. Okay, it takes off. I go back to the scene. So if I start making changes in the game, sorry, I want to go back to the scene. Usually this thing doesn't take. So we have to make sure that if we're in the game, any program we do inside here, it's not going to happen if we start making changes. We want to go back to the scene and make that happen. Let's see if maybe they've changed something on that. So I'm in the game, I make it 3. Scene's 3 too. So maybe they've made a change on that. I'll have to investigate that. Usually whatever change you make inside the game does not affect the scene. But I'm going to make that 0.005 again. And let's see if we go. That's doable. Okay, let's talk about what we're doing here. We're doing a translation. So translation. That means we are moving every point on that player object. They're all moving. If this moves over to the negative, you should know your math here. If we go -2, every point goes -2, -2, -2, -2. So it moves everything. So we do a translation, which is what we have in our script here. We're going to move every spot in that object. In this case, it's a cube. It's our player. Let's look at transform. You may think, well, what the heck is a transform? Well, here it is. You can see it. Transforms. So we're affecting the position when we write transform in a script, the rotation, and the scale. So let's change it. Right now we're moving. Now, let's see if you know this. This is from your math. X, Y, Z. So if I come back here and notice I need all 3 of these. If I don't have all 3 of these, if I just put 2 in, I'm going to get an error message. Now, this is the console, and it is going to show you your error message. And when you try to play this, yeah, nothing. So that means we got to fix that. So you can have the greatest game in the world, and you have one error message. Just one little semicolon. You didn't end the parentheses, you spelled something wrong, your game will not play. But it does give you a hint. So right here it tells me line 1830. If I double click, it's going to take me there. Okay, I'm going down to line 18. There it is. And I realize, okay, I need to have 3. I need to have XYZ. So I'm going to move the speed to the x-axis. And I think we're good there. So now you know I should be going left or right. I should be going right. Let's see. Now notice that clears. Once I make that change, once I correct that error message, then I no longer have the error message and I'm going right. And we can see it right there. See that? Let's do it again. So as you play, you can see that you're moving to the X right there. Now, if you want to move the opposite way, you should know this from your math also, then we just make it negative, right? And we have to save it. So if you're making a bunch of changes here and you do not save it, Control-Shift-S or just save all, nothing's going to happen. Compiling again, now we should go left, right? There it is, and you can see it going negative X. And let's just try the last one to make sure we understand what we're doing. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to make it 0. I'm going to give myself a Y. And I'm going to save it. Now, this is Y, and we should know Y goes up or down. Now I'm going to make it positive, because if it goes down, it's going to go through the ground. It would, but I want to see it go up. Okay, so we've created our first script, and we created a public variable. Now notice everything ends with a semicolon. Variables contain value. That means if I want to use speed 100 times in my script, I don't want to keep typing and telling the computer all of this information. I don't want to tell I want to be able to control in the game. I want it to be a decimal. No. I want to write it one time, and then every time I use it, it's going to be there. See, it's highlighted. Every time I use it, it remembers all of this. It remembers all of it. I only have to type it one time. There it is. Every time I use speed, it would highlight when I did that. So if I changed it once, I could change it in every one of these. I just have to change this value here, and it would change it in every speed. This way, if I'm going to start using things for movement, shooting, jumping, etc., I'm going to create a public variable that I only have to type one time instead of having to type all this down every time we want to. So we created a variable, and then we came down to update. Now, void start, it would have done it one time. It would have moved it 0.5, like one frame, and then it would have stopped. Because that is the void start. It only does it one time. But void update, when I put it inside void update, it does it every frame. What's per frame? Using 60 frames a second. So it's going to keep moving every frame of the game. So any kind of movement, shooting, whatever, it's going to be in void update. And make sure you save it when you did it. So that's it for lesson 3. Let's close this. Make sure you created yourself a new folder. And we're not done yet, right? What do we need to do? We need to save a scene. So file save as, scenes, and I'm going to put down moving. I could put down player moving, saving. And when we go there it is. So I have my moving. Remember, if you don't save, you're going to come in on your own computer, or you're going to come into a class if you're taking a class, and you're going to see that. And then you're going to comment or email me and say, hey, Mr. G, yeah, well, you didn't save anything. And all you're going to have is the main camera and the directional light. We can turn off this global volume. But those are the two things you have. A main camera and a directional light. But if we saved it, boom, there we go, we have it. Okay, keep practicing. Email me if you have any questions or problems.